Welcome, AKAPADers. This is the 31 Days of Dread, and you are here for day 25 of 31. And you're probably getting this a little bit late. And look, I went into this previous episodes. It's been one heck of a month, and it's a war, but we're doing horror movies. We're doing one a day. I'm Peter A. DeLuca. It's AKA Pad time. It's AKA Daddy time, and we are talking Return of the Dead, 1985. This rounds out our 80s environmental horror block. That's right, horror created by the environment. The abuse of Lady Green. Yeah, and she has a revenge in this movie, and it is phenomenal. Let me lay it down, people. We are dealing with the most sound movie zombie rules in cinema, in fiction, history. That intro's rolling in. Let's get through it, because this is something special and we have to discuss it. Okay, I don't even want to get into anecdotes at all when it comes to this episode. Sometimes I talk and I want to get things off my head, off my gray matter. Not this time, because Return of the Living Dead, okay? I've seen this movie 3 times in about 2 days. 3 times in 4 days. One of them was a movie marathon that Mark with a mouth, or business Mark as I call him. There's 2 Marks that contributed throughout the history of this podcast. Him and his daughters come over, and we just have a good time watching this movie. And we immediately wanted to watch part 2. Okay, part 2 is an 80s sequel. I hate to say it. Nothing carried over, except for 2 of the actors. I'll get into one of them a little bit down the road. And look, I don't know. This movie's special. The sequel's not much. There's a reason why for the title and the headline of this episode, and for the thumbnail, I'm not including any reference to Return of the Living Dead Part 2. Now, there's been 3 movies. And I believe, when we go through this as a franchise history film series, I mean, we have some movies. We have a lot of movies, okay? We have Return of the Living Dead, 1985. That's what we're discussing. Return of the Living Dead Part 2, 1988. Return of the Living Dead 3, 1993. Return of the Living Dead Necropolis, 2005. Return of the Living Dead Rave to the Grave, 2005. 2005 had 2, and then there's documentaries, So Dane O'Bannon, he's the guy behind this. Okay, you need to know who he is. Do you like Blue Thunder? Do you like Roy Schneider? Screenwriter for Blue Thunder. He started with Dark Star. Dark Star is a independent sci-fi movie, special effects wise, all this other stuff, predates Star Wars. His work on Dark Star, I believe, was so magnifying, it got Jodorowsky to recruit him for his Dune movie. There was a documentary on that. I'm pretty sure Dane O'Bannon is the guy that they got for that. Then we have Alien, right? Historic. Sorry, my phone. Let's turn off the notifications for my phone. I'm talking to you in the morning, and I'm expecting a few phone calls, 2 phone calls in particular. So I apologize. Invaders from Mars, the 1986 remake, one of my favorite remakes. Life Force, 1985, underrated space vampire movie. It's so hard to classify that one. Dead and Buried, 1981. I'm not familiar with Dead and Buried. The title's pretty common. I could say I heard of it, but I can't be sure. He did the segment Soft Landing in Heavy Metal that Elon Musk recreated, I believe last year with SpaceX with the Tesla. That's a floating space car that re-enters the atmosphere from space. Screamers, 1995. Peter Weller, great movie. Okay, Dana Bannon is beyond. I'm sorry, Dana Bannon's still with us. But he's beyond talented. Endless ideas. He even Blue Thunder, leading into a TV series. Return of the Living Dead. You can call it a cult franchise because there's still not enough people who have seen this movie. To be involved with Alien, one of the biggest movie franchises in the history of the world. It's in the impact of Alien is insane. So what is this movie exactly? Well, this movie is cult. It's popular. Not popular enough. Okay, not big enough. Still small. Just this is a lot like Day 24 Chud. Now, upcoming, I have a Reanimator coming. I have yet to see that movie. Reanimator gets endless releases, art prints, new poster designs, like new cover designs, steel books, action figures, t-shirts, other merchandise. And, every few years we'll have a new Reanimator action figure. In my eyes, that does not make that cult. This movie has a style. It has a flair. There is an attitude that runs through this movie, and it is Dana Bannon directing. Okay, now he did not work on the story. This is a screenplay. So here's the plot. Okay, military experiment. Okay, military creates a gas. This gas, unintended consequences, animates the dead. The dead crave brains. Now, when I say these are the most sound movie zombies, I'm going to get into that real quick. But let me tell you the setting for this movie. The setting for this movie is that the 1969 Night of the Living Dead was a true story. The military got involved with the filmmakers and made the filmmakers adjust the story to cover up what really happened. Now, this is a sequel to that incident without the details of the true story part. So it is a sequel to Night of the Living Dead. This echoes Blair Witch, Book of Shadows, and Blair Witch Project. It echoes it. It's so amazing the way how these two movies, these four movies, correlate in that fashion. So, and then boom, we're in the 80s. We're introduced to a 80s party gang. The tagline for this movie, "They're back from the grave and ready to party," is kind of true and not. Okay, this movie is impossible to have an accurate tagline for. This movie, you cannot pinpoint it because it's so unique. It's not perfect, but it's almost like riddled with or sprinkled with these incredible performances. Everyone's yelling. Everyone's like at a volume in this movie. Nothing is real. It's all exaggerated. It is a movie. That's what's so important about this. We're watching a movie. We're not watching something else. Okay, so first seeing this, okay, I know I'm leapfrogging all over the place. So do I need to tell you a little bit more about the plot? Maybe let's just go back to the plot. So we have party kids, we have the military, and we have these embalmers, okay, and we have a facility that almost like liquefies people to make medical bones to distribute, like a medical bone distributor, a medical skeleton distributor. And then they let the gas out, and Here's the awesome part. They they cover up what happened because they accidentally let this gas out. They animate one of the bodies, and they find out that all the rules from Night of the Living Dead aren't true. You can't kill these things by the brain. They are reanimated. The other rule, this is what I mean by perfect rules. These zombies are not killed with a gunshot. You cannot shoot their brain. You cannot chop off their head. The arms and the rest of the body will still be animated. Perfect, right? These zombies crave brains. Okay? They do not change you into a zombie if you bite them. You just simply die. They will eat your brain. So there's an infinite amount of them. And third rule is the zombies are somewhat conscious and they're in pain. Eating brains soothes their pain. And we have this because we have a torso that they get. And they kind of harass and interview the torso, very Blade 2 blood hunt. Like we have the examination table discovery exposition of how the rules or the mechanics of the monster work. This is common. It's a common trope. Common technique, but it's perfect. It's perfectly used in this, and it was pretty much staying perfect in Blade as well. You can argue that the Velociraptor birth scene is a reverse of that trope. Where it's not an examination table, but it's still all your characters around getting the rules laid out in front of them with the birth of a baby raptor. So, like we don't deal with ideas that zombies would starve to death, or zombies would decompose, or just the logic of if zombies are eating brains, why would people turn into a zombie if zombies are eating brains, and then why wouldn't zombies just eat fresh brains whenever they even if someone turned into a zombie? It's we need very clear rules for zombies, as we do with vampires, as we do with werewolves, even as we do with Frankenstein's monster. This is what Halloween and 31 Days of Dread are all about. We need to know these rules. It's important. So as the plot unfolds, these guys, in their brilliance, they have to get rid of the body. It's bad for business. They have one reanimated body, one. So they burn it. They go to a crematorium. They convince this guy to do it, and he does it. And what happens is when the body turns to smoke and goes into the atmosphere, it begins to rain. And the rainwater reanimates an entire graveyard's worth of people. This is one of the most perfect plots. It's genius. And then we go back to the party gang. We have one of the all-time movie bodies. One of these girls gets naked, starts dancing on the grave. She later becomes a white and red zombie. She, one of the most amazing bodies, pre-breast implant craze. Okay, breast implants really weren't. They were catching on, but they weren't so prevalent. As I could tell, she's got natural boobies, incredible everything. We'll just stop there. But at the same time, though, good actress, and like I said, it's everyone in this movie is good because everyone's over the top. Now, the standout of this movie is James Cameron. Now, James Cameron, I'm pretty sure, is in our next movie, The Prophecy, 1978 or 1977. I keep forgetting. I'm pretty sure he's a doctor in that movie, or he could have been a doctor in a movie called The Unborn that I am not decided not to discuss. He could be in Unborn. I apologize, but James Cameron is one of your all-time actors. He recently passed away a year ago. James Cameron has dozens, and his list. I want to say hundreds, but his filmography is insane. This is your definition of a career actor, a career performer, a professional. Not your Tom Cruise, not your Brad Pitt. There's something to appreciate about people with his type of career. Now, he is so far over the top in this movie. Okay, he is one of the people that, because he inhales the gas early, he has this completely slow turn as he's turning into the living undead, because he's conscious, he's aware. See, we're also seeing the rules of the zombies with him and his friend, his co-worker, Tom Matthews, right, Freddy, where I may be getting that wrong. And look, I'm sorry, I'm pulling a lot of things off of IMDb as I'm talking to you. These two characters slowly turn into like the true living dead. See, their minds are conscious. They're aware. They know what's happening to them. They feel what's happening to them, but they're conscious. And they can talk and they can make decisions. But they're sick. But they have no vital signs. They have no heartbeat. So, when it comes back to the zombies, these zombies are somewhat intelligent. They almost like get more intelligent the more brains that they eat. And these zombies start setting traps and they start luring people to them. Again, this is an evolution and improvement of the Night of the Living Dead zombies. And it answers all these questions that we didn't even know probably to ask. Even at the time, I would say we don't know to ask at the time. To me, it's amazing that like even a show, like The Walking Dead, can last so long because as far as I understand, Walking Dead does not answer these questions at all. It stays away from them. Because the zombie event or a zombie event, it can easily be like the logic can just crumble on its own weight, and it can take you out of it. It really can. It can take you out of the experience. So, we're cycling here, but we watched this movie on a triple feature. It was Return of the Living Dead Part 2, and then Maximum Overdrive, which really makes no sense. Maximum Overdrive is fun to watch because it's just like, it really is like a popcorn, like brain dump movie, but there's very little in that movie that makes sense. Machines coming alive and some cars coming alive and some cars not coming alive. It's very choosy on what comes alive in that movie. It just really doesn't add up. But it kind of is like a template for The Mist. And I'm pretty sure Stephen King wrote and directed Maximum Overdrive before The Mist short story. But The Mist movie is like a perfect version of what Maximum Overdrive should have been, if that makes any sense. But yeah, so look, we have a we really do have something special. Yeah, so like it just like it's like this movie now will always be like a part of one of those nights. It's a wonderful memory to really share this movie with the first time with 3 other people and really see how much they enjoyed and wanted to rock and roll and just watching this. So it is a crowd pleaser because it's goofy and it has some of the greatest practical effects in cinema history, most memorable practical effects in human history. It's some of it's comic booky or like exaggerated, or like a lot like Mike Plag or Bernie Wrightson's artwork, where like the whites are extra white in the eyes and stuff like that, but everything's like dark around the eye sockets and things. We have a go-to. I don't want to say it, but it's like we kind of have a masterpiece, and we should not ignore this movie. And for day 25 of the 31 Days of Dread, I am happy to bring you Return of the Living Dead. Everyone, go check it out. And next, day 26 and day 27, we have The Prophecy. Great movie, same title, or great movies, same. I can't get that right. Great title, great movies. Okay? Let's rock and roll, and let's get